Hey there, this is Brandon Oling from X Equals. Want to walk you through a very cool tip that has been around since version 1 of Lightroom. And although I personally don't use this that often, it's a great image inspection technique. Now, normally, when I'm working images in Lightroom, I'm pushing things out to the web, I'm pushing things to the blog, Facebook, sending things over email, and I'm really only looking at using my images in roughly 72 dpi and proofing for the web. Now, when I'm normally working in Lightroom and using Lightroom to downsample and process these images for JPEGs, what happens is Lightroom is pretty good at sampling out any noise, dust, or imperfections on the image that historically, if I kept them in high res, I'd have to go in and knock out with the brush tool or the retouch tool. Now, when I'm pushing images to high resolution, such as pushing them to print, putting them in a catalog, or any scenario where these images can be viewed in high resolution, they have to be perfectly clean. I'm a little obsessive compulsive about this, and when I'm using high resolution versions of my prints for any reason, I and normally you folks want to be sure that any dust, imperfections, blemishes, any retouching that needs to be done not only is easy to do, but we want to make sure that we've been able to inspect all of the image 100% to make sure we've knocked out any of those issues. Lastly, I'm pretty lazy sometimes, and that doesn't mean that I want to use a lesser technique, but I also want to have a technique that gets me through the process quickly and gets me through my day knocking out these images. Now, one very quick way to inspect images and not have to go through this left and right and panning and zooming in and out is to use a lesser known technique that I used to call the PageDowner technique. Now, why did I call this the PageDowner technique? That is because when I used to work on a PC, this technique actually leverages your page up and page down buttons. Now, we do not have page up and page down buttons on the Mac, so what we're going to use on the Mac is we're going to press and hold the function key, and we're going to use the up and down arrow to do the exact same things that you folks on the PC can do using your page up and page down button. Now, here we are in the library module, and I've selected a particular image of my daughter here sniffing a flower. And the first thing we want to do is set our navigator zoom ratio to 1:1. So let's go up into the navigator here. Just next to the fill button is the 1:1 crop ratio. And what I'm also going to do, zoom ratio, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to take this box here, I'm going to select it in the navigator and move it up to the upper left corner of my image. And what you'll see here is as I move my mouse closer to the corner, Lightroom is going to zoom in a little bit tighter for us, and this can be controlled. So in your particular use of this, you can use this crop ratio, this zoom ratio, to kind of get yourself up in a point where you're zoomed in on the image tight enough that you can see some of the imperfections that might be in the image. In this case here, it works for me at 1:1. That is my preferred method. Next, what we want to do is Lightroom is going to allow us to literally pan through or zoom around the image in exact format. And what you'll notice here when I move the navigator is what I'm going to do here is hold down the function button. And if we look up in the upper left of the navigator, I'm now going to press my bottom arrow, my down arrow. So press that down arrow, press that again, I'm going to press it again, and what you'll see Lightroom do is it continues to cycle through the image, and when I press it again, it's going to automatically pop up to the top and automatically sets itself back to the top of the image, precisely to the right in this example of my previous scroll path. If I continue to press the down arrow, what you'll see is Lightroom just continues to cycle through the image, and I get a chance to look at every single spot on this image at my preferred zoom ratio. Here I'm pressing the up arrow, which is essentially going in reverse order through our image. Now, what if I wanted to start in the bottom right? This feature is also very cool in the sense that if I continue to hold down the function key on my Mac, or press the right arrow key on your PC, it will take us down and start us at the bottom right of the image, and I can continue to go up through each image here at my preferred zoom ratio, inspecting every single panel that I want to in my particular image. Now, what's cool about this? As I said before, this gives you complete assurance that I have scoured every single area of my image, but also allows me to maintain that tight zoom control and focus on busting that dust and making sure any blemishes and scratches and things like that, I can go and attack with the brush tool or the red eye tool, whatever tool in the develop module you want to use to take out some of those imperfections. So take this with you out in the field, enjoy. Here's to obsessive image inspection. And again, want to reach us on the web, reach us at www.xequals.com. That's x-equals.com/blog. We are also now on Facebook. Easy to find, facebook.com/xequalsmedia. This is Brandon Oling from X Equals. Thanks for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.